Our society is in the process of breaking down all around us, and signs of its impending collapse are everywhere. Have you noticed that nowadays people don't treat one another with the same level of respect and civility that they once did? Americans are constantly fighting with each other, and these days it feels like most people can't solve anything through dialogue and empathy, and this should greatly alarm all of us. The worsening polarization across our nation can be a contributing factor, but recently even those that are supposedly on the same side are treating each other with extreme contempt. Conservatives are fighting with conservatives, liberals are fighting with liberals, Christians are fighting with Christians, and we're also seeing families break up all over the place. Hearts are growing so cold, and all of the conflict and discord that we are witnessing right now is leaving us wondering about what things will be like when economic conditions in this nation start falling apart in the months ahead. And that's what we're going to discuss in today's video. Our society is getting more and more divided, and maybe this is why we have so much anger and hatred growing all around our nation. At this point, it seems like a large portion of our population doesn't possess even the most basic level of sympathy and compassion for their fellow citizens, and that has frightening implications for the future of America. Given that we have become disturbingly disconnected from each other, we tend to focus on what's happening inside our social bubble and forget the narratives others are living. But when we take a step back and take a deeper look at our current situation, the extent to which our society has already deteriorated is quite shocking. There is so much rage and indignation in the air right now, and we're most certainly seeing this being reflected in the rates of severe delinquencies and offenses being recorded at this moment. For instance, CNBC reports that burglaries in San Francisco are up by 42% over the past year. In the Northern District, which includes Pacific Heights, the Marina, North Beach, and Cal Marlow, it's up 59%. In the Mission, 79%, and in the Richmond, up 50%. People in the city's northern neighborhoods like North Beach, Russian Hill, and Pacific Heights say they're experiencing break-ins daily. In the last 2 quarters of 2022, there have been 5,118 burglaries in the city, and surveillance cameras have caught many of these thieves over the last couple of months. In some neighborhoods, the same offenders are returning multiple times, and things have gotten so extreme that one local resident recently admitted that she is in a constant state of alarm. Thieves are returning to the same homes and neighborhoods within the same year, sometimes only one day apart, the report says. It's a big wave of transgression right now, so many home burglaries. This is scary. I cannot see the 90% resident of the group. Another local named Alex Miller says that thieves broke into her house and stole the presents her family and friends had given her to congratulate her on her wedding. We were supposed to get married in April, postponed until next year. We had a lot of wedding gifts in there, and they got stolen. It was a lot of miscellaneous things and sporting equipment, Miller said. Many other San Francisco residents have shared similar stories of thieves breaking into their garages or homes and stealing expensive bicycles, scooters, and whatever they can get their hands on. One thing most of them also have in common is the fact that they haven't seen security being boosted by local authorities, despite the rise in such unlawful acts. It's hard to imagine what it must be like lying in bed wondering if this will be the night when the burglars will return again, or just not knowing if your belongings will be there when you wake up the next morning. On top of widespread cases of home invasions, San Francisco's businesses are also recording mass break-ins. Security footage from a Pacific Heights food market a week and a half ago shows a suspect seen setting up a blowtorch on the store's glass. When it doesn't budge, he comes back and tries throwing a plant at the break-in, the report highlights. The lawlessness piece of it is disturbing, Miller added. Some people have seen second break-ins just recently, and it's just unacceptable. We need to see some actions and not just words, Corp stressed. Unfortunately, we're seeing similar scenes play out all around the United States tonight. and day, and nothing really changes. With rampant unemployment and a fast declining economy, it's safe to say that this is only going to get worse in the coming months. On the East Coast, things are no different. Official numbers show that New York City has also seen a 42% rise in burglaries in the past 12 months, and the number of outrageous wrongdoings that has resulted in fatalities has risen by a staggering 91% over that same span. No wonder why approximately 299,557 people have already moved out of the city in search of a safer place to live in 2022, according to data from the U.S. Census. Currently, extremely wicked acts continue to occur in our major cities, and such incidents are happening so frequently that they barely make a blip in the news. In Chicago, public hospitals report that 50% of victims arriving with severe injuries caused by immoral offenders are children under the age of 10, and about 37% of them lose their lives in a hospital bed. Is this what America has become? Have we become a place where the lives of children under the age of 10 are at risk? How can parents raise their kids safely in such chaotic environments? What's even sadder is the fact that many children out there are also victims of their own parents. For example, due to the worst addiction crisis this country has ever seen, many babies are addicted to illegal substances from the moment they're born. In fact, in the city of Baltimore, approximately 1 out of every 4 babies is born dependent on opioids. Doctors at Mount Washington Pediatric Hospital say babies born with neonatal abstinence syndrome, a set of conditions caused by withdrawal from exposure to illegal substances, now account for 25% of the hospital's admissions. That's so wrong on so many levels that it means that the future of many of these babies is taken from them